topic I wanted to share with you, and this is about the anniversary of a UFO sighting. All of you UFO people will love this story because there are some unanswered questions in this story. Now, this story started in 1965, on September 3rd, 1965. They say it was lightning that started a fire in Exeter, New Hampshire, in the town hall. They say the fire, the town hall that caused the cancellation of a UFO festival the first year it was hosted by the local Kiwanis Club. That's what they say anyway. 50 years ago, in 1965, a frightened 18-year-old high school graduate and future Navy man named Norman Muscarello told police he had seen an unidentified flying object. The event that became known as the incident at Exeter sparked an Air Force investigation that became one of the nation's most celebrated and scrutinized UFO sightings. The Exeter UFO Festival that runs through the weekend, through today, brings together a gathering of notable UFOologists, what do you say? True believers, as well as skeptics and the merely curious, to raise money for children's charities and to talk about just what the heck happened 50 years ago. Bill Smith, the president of the Kiwanis Club of the Exeter area, said the festival was the brainchild of Dean Merchant, a Kiwanian and UFO enthusiast and researcher. The Kiwanis has been sponsoring it for the last 6 of its 7 years. Smith said he was just fascinated as to what happened 50 years ago. He was saying nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody recognizes the significance of the event anymore. So, what is the story? Here's the story.
Okay. Going to breathe life into something now.
Breathe life. Norman Muscarello, by the way, died in 2003.
Oh.
Norman was hitchhiking home on September 3rd, 1965, when he saw some strange lights in the woods in nearby Kensington, New Hampshire. The lights moved toward him. He panicked, dove into a ditch, and when the lights moved back into the woods, he bolted for a nearby farmhouse to ask for help. The house was empty, so he flagged down a motorist who took him to the Exeter Police Department. An officer went back to the farmhouse with Muscarello and later said he had also seen a flying object that he could not explain.
Wow.
And then sightings came in from other areas as well that same evening. The United States Air Force said the sightings were either a mirage caused by a temperature inversion or one of 5 B-47 planes in the area at the time. Mm-hmm. A definitive answer was never actually given.
I bet not.
The Exeter Festival is still, at its heart, a fundraiser for children's charities supported by Kiwanis. It's not the big affair that draws thousands each July to something like Roswell, New Mexico, where the 1947 crash of a flying object ignited a still-burning debate over the existence of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. But this anniversary year, 600 to 700 people are there. They are buying little green aliens, spaceships, T-shirts, coffee mugs, hot dogs. They're also hearing from UFO researchers, including Stanton Friedman, Richard Dolan, and Jennifer Stein. It's a family-friendly event, and it's happening today. It happened all weekend long up in Exeter, New Hampshire.
That is so cool. I really believe in that stuff. Anyway, there's got to be life from other places. I just
thought I would share that with you. When you and I went to the all children's playground, which I don't think anybody even calls it that anymore. In fact,
no.
I'm not even sure where it was.
No, they moved it from the school to Tuscaloosa Park.
But it must have been 28 years ago or something like that, or something like that. You and I attended a meeting. They were going to build an all-children's playground here in Ocala. Yep. They were looking for volunteers to help build it. It was an all-wood playground, and it was when it was done, it was beautiful. But at that night, it wasn't. It was just talk.
Right.
And I believe, what school were we at?
Ward Highlands, I believe.
So after we come out of the meeting, we're driving in the dark, And overhead, we see this large, very fast, turquoise green. Is that how you remember it?
Yes.
Light just fly overhead. Just phew. It didn't make any noise. That's me imitating it for the microphone, but it didn't make any noise.
No noise.
It's just a large green, blue-green object just bolting through the sky. Mm-hmm. It didn't look like it was flying. It looked like it was falling from somewhere, and it looked like it fell in the woods just beyond where we were. Mm-hmm. So we drove to the area where it looked like it fell, and we found nothing. So we're listening to the radio, and we hear the disc jockey say, because we were listening to a music station, so between songs he comes on and he says, I'm getting some weird calls from people who say they saw a strange light in the sky.
Yeah.
So other people were calling in it as well. So he said, wow, other people saw this. I wonder what it was. So the next morning, there was a newspaper story about people seeing this unusually bright light up and down the East Coast of America.
Yes.
I think as far north as Connecticut, people had reported seeing the exact same thing you and I saw.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever it was, didn't fly and crash just a few hundred yards from where we were. Mm-hmm. In fact, it may not have crashed anywhere. It just flew, I believe, past planet Earth.
Yeah.
And just happened to come nearby, because to the speed of something like that, probably could reach from Florida to Connecticut in a matter of seconds.
Exactly.
So everybody who saw it virtually at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now, whether it was going south to north or north to south, I can't remember which direction we saw it going.
No.
Okay, but so we either saw it last or we saw it first. I don't know, but I believe we were as far south as it was spotted.
But it gave us chills.
And ever since that time, I thought, well, maybe there is something to this UFO stuff. Now, people say, well, what you saw was a comet. No. Comets are very predictable, and comets are very not slow, but they appear slow because they're so far away.
Yeah.
People say, well, it was probably a meteor. Well, that could be, but I think a meteor that big would have hit the ground.
Yeah.
And would not have been seen all the way from Connecticut to Florida. Everybody who says that they know what we saw, I believe is just guessing, and they're not right.
Exactly.
They could be right. So what it was, we don't know. But I know there was something, and I know we didn't imagine it, and I know it wasn't the reflection of light or any swamp gas.
Nothing, or airplanes or jets.
It was not an airplane. There's no way.
Like
it was just a huge, fiery, but not red and yellow fiery. It was blue-green fiery.
Yeah.
And just passed through the sky. So
it was amazing.
Anyway.
Gosh. And when we got in that night, nobody believed us that we saw it, and then everybody believed it when it was in the paper the next day.
Right.
I do remember that. It's like, oh, no, you guys.
Everybody thought we were making it up or something.
Exactly.
And for those of you who study this stuff a lot, I mean, I'm always interested in stuff. But when I go online, like to YouTube, and I look at UFO videos, they're interesting, and they put eerie music to them, and the narration is usually pretty cool. But I can't tell what's believable and what's not believable. There was some pictures from... taken from the space station, I believe it was. Where it shows these things floating outside, and they're always so far away. They're always so far away and so out of focus. It's like, why isn't there anything clear? And when there is something clear, it looks so phony.
Yes, for sure. Because this didn't have, the saucer shape or anything like that. It was just light, and it was moving, and it was real pretty, and but boy, it was kind of scary.
All right, so if you go to Google News, and Google News, if you've ever used Google News, you know that Google News will give you the most recent story about a particular subject. So I'm going to type in UFO.
Okay.
And go to Google News. Let's see. Okay, so the first story comes up from 20 hours ago. Okay, 20 hours ago, a story was posted online. Is this the moment UFO almost crashed into a Ryanair jet? Footage taken on board the Boeing 777 appears to show a small black object shooting inches past the plane's wing at a high speed, leaving a trail of dark smoke in its wake.
Wow.
The passenger who filmed the close encounter said the pilot had to bank sharply to avoid the unidentified craft, which was described as hostile. Wow.
Gosh.
Wow.
Wow.
It was published by the Lions Ground UFO Group, whose member Heathcliff said a Dutch passenger captured UFO on video while on board the Ryanair Airbus Netherlands heading to Spain.
Gosh, isn't that something?
My point is that at any given time, you can find a current story on UFOs.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a story printed.
Pretty amazing.
Let's see, this was printed or published September 4th. Photographs of a bizarre, unidentified flying craft sighting, branded one of the weirdest and clearest on record, are being taken seriously by a recognized global UFO organization. That's
Wow.
that's in the news today. It was September 4th is the date.
Gosh.
So
Wow. Yeah, there is something, and there's something to it. I can't believe we're the only living creatures.
it says here, UFO
Universe.
photographs are often criticized for being blurred, fuzzy, or taken too far away to tell what it is, but a photographer snapped these clear images of this bizarrely shaped craft in the skies over Costa Rica. According to Paranormal Crucible, a YouTube UFO channel, witnesses had dismissed it being a drone. The video narrator said a mysterious flying object has been photographed over a soccer field near Santana, Costa Rica. Wow.
Wow, isn't that something?
The anomaly was photographed several times as it glided over treetops before finally disappearing out of view over the hilltop.
Gosh.
All right, we'll be right back.
Blog Speak Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. A sea of migrants from war-torn Mideast and African nations pouring into Europe, especially Germany.
Angela Merkel saying it was a moving and breathtaking weekend.